Well, hello, welcome again to a reading through of Genesis from the Septuagint, and I'm skipping chapter 5 because it's mainly just genealogies and how long each person lived, and it's quite repetitive, so I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to move to chapter 6, which is the story of Noah, beginnings of the story of Noah. Kai geneto heinika exanta hoi anthropoi poloi ginesthai epites ges kai thugateras egenethes anautois. And it came to pass that when many men began from Archemai, ginesthai, probably something to exist or perhaps almost to be born, but it is ginemai, to exist, epites ges, upon the earth, and thugateres and daughters, well, this again is from ginemai, came to exist. It's almost were born to them, so daughters existed for them, literally. Idontes de hoi huioi tu theou thugateras turn anthropon hotikalai asin, elabon hiautus genikos kai apopason hon exelexanto. And now you'll again need to look at the commentaries on all of this. This is very strange stuff. It says the sons of God, not told who they are, having seen the daughters of men, that they, the daughters, were fair. Elibon, they, this is the sons of God, they took wives, I think, for Gunaikas here, wives for themselves, apopason, original passaon, it's feminine, so this is contracted here. So they took for themselves wives from all of them, from among all of them whom they chose. This is from Ex and Hyrio, or possibly eklegamai. And the hone is the relative pronoun, gets attracted into the genitive here. So they took wives from all of the ones, from those from whom, that group from whom they chose them. Kai apen kurios theos ume katamene top pneuma entais anthropois tutois en aiston iona dieto enai autus sarkas sesontai de hai hemerai auton hecaton e cosi ete. And now again we're getting this very strange name for God. It's Kurios Hotheos, so the Hebrew has Yahweh and Elohim, and so the Lord God said, now ume plus the subjunctive for a strong negative, my spirit will not in any way remain, katameno, often translated abide, will no longer abide in these men, eis ton iona, forever. Dieto enai autus sarkas. Now this is dieto plus the infinitive, so on account of the fact that they are flesh. Esontai de haimere auton, the days of them will be, future from Amy, 120 years. Hoi de gigantes, from gigas, is the declension. Gigas esan epites geis, en tais hemeras ekenois. Kai met ekeno, hos an eis eporuon to hoi huioi, to theou prostos thugateras, ton anthropon, kai egenosan heautois. Ekenoi esin hoi gigantes hoi ap ionos hoi anthropoi hoi onomastoi. Fairly long verse. And the giants, from gigas, the giants were upon the earth in those days, and after it, when the sons of God, whenever the sons of God, it's Hos-an, whenever the sons of God entered into the daughters of men, this again I think will be a periphrasis for intercourse, so they entered into, so they had intercourse with the daughters of men, kai egenosan hiautois. I think we have to supply children here. It's not in the Hebrew or the Greek, but it's egenosan, from genao, to begat. So, and they begat children for themselves. The ending here, a little bit suspicious. It looks to me as though the ending is this what's known as the Alexandrine aorist, which is an osan ending. We will see that in various places. You sometimes get, in fact, relatively commonly in the Septuagint, this so-called Alexandrine aorist ending in osan. And so this would be genao with an alpha and then an omicron, and that contracts to an omega. It could also just be a normal contraction from genao, which would lengthen, but the accent here seems to imply to me that this is a contraction here, rather than just a lengthening. And so this is probably it's genao plus the osan ending. And so they begat, understand, children for themselves. They were the giants, these were the giants, those from of old, the men of renown. Onomastos is having a name for themselves, making a name for themselves, and hence renown. So the men of renown. Idon, kurios, Hotheos, we get this interesting name of God again. Hoti epleithune thes plunthesan hai kakiai ton anthropon. Epites geis typastis dia no aitai ente cardia autu epimelos epi to ponera passas tes hemeras. Kai en ethumethe hotheos hoti epoi sen ton anthropon epites geis kai dia no ethe. And the Lord God, having seen that the wickednesses, the kakiai of men, this is an aorist passive, were multiplied from pleithuno. Pleithuno means to increase, and we often translate it were multiplied, upon the earth, kai pastis, and each certain person, so each man we would say, dionaitai, well, it means to think through. It's from dionoio, and it's being used in the middle here, and we'll see it, well, no, we won't see it. There's dionoio. So it's something like thought. So each man thought, or almost thought it through in his heart, epimelos, carefully, or perhaps intently, with regard to evil all the days. So each one decided in his heart intently upon the evil things all the days, literally. This verse, the Hebrew here is, this is a paraphrase of what's in the Hebrew. It's not exactly the same, and I didn't look up modern translations, but it slightly varies on what's in the Masoretic text of the Hebrew. Kai en ethumethe hotheos, and God. Now enethumio is to become angry, I think, and God was made angry. It's an aorist passive. God was made angry that he made, or became angry that he made. You often get aorist passives with just active sense in the Septuagint. So God was angry that he had made man upon the earth. Kai dia no aethe, there's that same verb again we had up here. This time it's aorist passive. Something like he gave it thought. He thought it through, if you want to get the dia. Kai apen hotheos ap alepso ton anthropon hon epoiesi apo prosopou tes geis apo anthropou hios ktenus kai apo herpeton hios ton petenon tu anthropou hoti ethumethen hoti epoiese autus. Noe dehurin karin and antion kuriu to theou. And God, it's just a simple Elohim this time, God said, this is from apolepho, there's a phi in here, so this is a future. So when God said, I will, apolepho is to wipe out, to wipe away, to blot out. It's quite a strong word. God said, I will blot out man, whom I made, from the face of the earth, from a man, that is from mankind, up until the cattle, or the beasts, the katanus, this is a genitive from katanos, third declension, neuter noun, and from the creeping things, all the way up to, so as far as the birds, the birds of the sky, the heaven, because I am angry, or perhaps I have been made angry, or I am angry that I made them. Now we get a nice de here, but Noah, that's important de here, but Noah Hurin, from Hurisco, Noah found Karin favour before the Lord God. Again, this long form of God with both Yahweh and Elohim. Hautoi de hai guneses Noe. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, Telios own, being perfect in Tegenia autu, in his generation. Totheo eu arestes and Noah. And this is from eu arestio. This is to be well pleased or well pleasing. So Noah was well pleasing, and it's an aorist, to God. And this is a verb which comes in the New Testament as well, of course. And it's elsewhere in the Septuagint. And Noah begat from Genao 3 sons, Tres Huius, Ton Sem, Ton Cam, Ton Iaseph. The Sem and Cam, we would say Ham, and Japheth, Japheth. Thare de Haggai enantion to Theou, and the earth. Now this is from thero, to destroy, but it can also mean to corrupt, and it's used fairly loosely in that sense of corrupt, interfering with someone sexually can lead to them being, the Greek would say they were corrupted. Socrates, of course, not sexually, but he was accused of corrupting the youth. It's this same verb that's used. So the earth was made corrupt, an aorist passive here from thero, before God, in antion to theou, and the land, epleisthe. This is from pimplami. If you write down pimplami, it's got a reduplicated present, piplami, and you take out the me ending, and you just get the root, which is play, and this is the aorist passive. So the earth was filled, and it takes a genitive, with unrighteousness. There'll be a genitive form here, genitive after the verb filling. Kai adian kurios hotheos tain gain, and the Lord God saw, I should say, the earth, and it was. Now we get the same verb here as we had up here, ephtero. This is the aorist passive participle, it's the perfect passive participle, corrupted, and it's a compound verb. Now, interesting little point from the point of view of translation, this idea of corrupt, this verb, we get this verb, the compound verb, and I think we're going to get it again down here, the compound verb. In the Hebrew, the same verb is used in all 3 places. It doesn't change. Was corrupted, or was, the Hebrew says, was spoiled. So it's interesting, the translator translates the same Hebrew word by, well, a basic verb and then a compound verb twice. The kata really emphasizes it. So the Lord God saw the earth that it had been corrupted. This is a perfect periphrastic construction here with ain, that it had been corrupted, that all flesh was corrupted, or perhaps had corrupted, tain hodon autu, literally his way. Exactly what that means, what the autu refers to is not immediately clear to me. Upon the earth, it may refer to God's way upon the earth. It may refer to human beings' own way upon the earth. Kai epen ho theos pros Noe, and God said to Noah, Kairos pantos anthropu heke anantion mu. Hoti epleisthe hege adakias ap auton, kai idu ego kataphthero autois kai tangain. There's a very interesting use of kairos here. Kairos means a time or a season, usually a period of time. So the Hebrew here has the word meaning the end. So it is literally, he said to Noah, the period or the time of every man has come before me. It may mean the end of the season. The time has been completed. As I said, the Hebrew has the end of each man has come before me. Again, I'll leave the commentators to discuss exactly what this is, because the land has been filled with unrighteousness from them. And behold, I, kataphthero, it's the same verb again, I will destroy. Now here it's got that meaning of destroy. Perhaps that's what he's trying to get across here. It is the same verb in each place in the Hebrew, but he may mean here, I am destroying them and the earth. Just a present here. I am destroying them and the earth. Poieson un siatu kiboton ex xulon tetragonon. The imperative, make then for yourself, kibotos is, now this is, despite its ending kibotos, it is actually a feminine noun, an ark, probably because it's made from things connected with the earth and hence is feminine. But it's hey kibotos, one of those second declension feminine nouns ending in os. So make for yourself an ark from, literally, tetragonon with 4 angles wood, so it's square wood. Very funny use of tetragonon here. The Hebrew uses a word which is often translated as gopher wood. Probably scholars think a sort of cypress or pine wood. The Hebrew word occurs only here, only at this point. So again, I'm sort of guessing here, but perhaps the translator looked at the Hebrew word, didn't really know what it meant, because it's a very rare word that only occurs here. And remember, they didn't have Google or lexicons and things to look up. He would have had to have known it, and perhaps didn't. And he just translates of square timber. And it's not clear where he gets that from. Alternatively, the Masoretic text we have now may be different from what the translator was translating. Anyway, interesting point here. Nosias poiesas ton kiboton. Nosia is a nest in classical Greek. Here it probably has the sense of compartments. And poieses, taking a double accusative, I think. This could be a genitive, possibly, but I think it's more likely accusative. So you will make the ark with, understood, apartments. You will make apartments the ark, literally. If it's a genitive, then it'll be a defining genitive or genitive of whatever. So you will make the ark with comprising of compartments. Kai aspeltoses, this is a future from a verb aspeltoo, meaning to cover with aspeltos, which is pitch, or one of the meanings of that word. It's an alpha privative from in the spell root of slipping. So we get our word asphalt in modern English because you don't slip on asphalt. So, but this is a verb here. It only occurs here in all of Greek, and it's hence a neologism. It may have been made up. The word asphaltos is common enough, so the author may have made up the verb from that. It may be a neologism. So you will cover it with pitch, within and without with pitch. Kai hutos poieses tan kibaton. You see it's feminine. We've got a feminine article here. And thus you will make the ark, and its width, perhaps breadth, will be 30 cubits. So the width of the ark is 300 cubits, and the breadth of the ark 50 cubits from Pakion, and the height of it 30 cubits. Episun agon poiesas. Episun agon here is a funny word. It normally means to gather together. It seems here the Hebrew is different. Again, it's slightly different to what we're seeing here. Here it seems to mean to narrow down. So at one end it's going to narrow down. So you will make the ark, narrowing it down, and again, very odd here. You will complete it 1 cubit above. Now I don't know what that means. Both the Greek and the Hebrew here are obscure. Modern translators speak here of a window or a roof that is then a cubit above the floor. But again, I'll leave that to the commentators. And the door of the ark you will make ek plagion on the side. Again, a funny use of plagion, means the flanks of things. So yeah, well, flanks, that's probably right. On the sides, on the flanks of it. Katagaia di orifa kai triorifa poiesis auton. This is like our ground floor, first floor, and second floor. Literally 2 roofs and 3 roofs. So you will make it to have, translated here, I think it's a ground floor, a first story, and a second story. And behold, I will introduce, epago, the cataclysmon, this is the flood, and then hodor, consisting of water, upon the earth, to destroy, here we get the kataphthera again, to corrupt or destroy all flesh, in which is the spirit of life, below the heaven. Kai hosa ean, we often get he'an or e'an in both New Testament Greek and in Septuagint just for an, so as many things as might be upon the earth, it will die. So it is plural here, but we get singular verb, neuter plural singular verb, so they will die perhaps. As many things that might be upon the earth, they will die. Kai steso, and I will, this is a future from histemi, I will place my covenant to you. And you will go in, this is second person from Ace Urkamai, you will go into the ark, you and your sons and your wife, and the wives of your sons with you. Kai, and from all of the beasts, the katanon, the cattle, and from all of the creeping things, and from all of the animals, the beasts, the therion, and from all flesh, duot, I think it's 2 by 2, from all of them, you will lead them into the ark, in order that, this is from trepho, to feed, so it's, you might feed with yourself. In other words, you will keep them alive with you, you will feed them along with yourself. Asen kaithalu, male and female they will be. apapanton ton ornion, and from all, literally all the birds of the flying things. Put patenon here. You often get patenon meaning just a bird, but it's literally a flying thing. It's connected with petomai, to fly. So from all the birds, ornis is the nominative, whence ornithology in modern English. So from all of the birds among the flying things by race, and from all of the beasts by race, and from all of the creeping things, of those things which are creeping upon the earth by their race. Duo, 2 by 2, from all of them they will go into you, tropesthai, to be nourished, to be fed, along with you, arsen kai thelu, male and female. But you will, this is lampse from lambano, retaining the nasal mu here, it's lampse in Attic, but lampse here. You will take for yourself from all the foods, from broma, the nouns form from bibrosko, to eat, from all the foods which you eat, edes there. This is an old middle from the root ed, which is cognate with our word eat. So if we look at estheo, the root is there in estheo, but it's a bit hard to see. The future of estheo is edamai, and then you get ephagon, but the root of estheo is ed, and you're getting this esthi. So this is the future here. It's which you will eat. From it's estheo and then edamai, so it's which you plural will eat, and you will bring them to yourself, and they will be. It will be for you and for them to eat. So you will gather all things to yourself, and it will be for you and for them to eat. And Noah did all these things, as many things as the Lord God, this is from Telemai, had commanded him. Thus epoiesen he did. And that is the end of chapter 6.